How does technology best align with redesigning society? In this technology panel, we'll explore the power of digital twins.
This panel discussion will decode on how technology is propelling digital ownership and its correlation to physical assets.
It will be moderated by Gloria Maria Cappelletti, editor-at-large at ID Italy, professor at NABA and curator of Fashion Film Festival Milano. Take it away, Gloria.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us at the Circular Fashion Summit 2021. This is the technology panel, and today we're going to explore the topic, the power of digital twins, which is quite exciting. And we have really special guests with us. First, I introduce myself very briefly. I'm Gloria Maria Cappelletti. I'm creative director and editor-at-large for ID Italy. I'm the curator of a Fashion Film Festival Milano, and I am a teacher of methodology of communication at NABA in Milan. So let's start with our special guest, and I first would like to introduce you to Daniela Ott. Please.
Hi everybody, thank you for the CFS and Gloria, thank you for having me. My name is Daniela, I'm the Secretary General of the Aura Blockchain Consortium.
Thank you very much for being with us. And then we are introducing Sally and Otton.
Hi everyone, wonderful to be here today. My name is Sally Ann Houghton. I work at Epic Games and I'm business development for Unreal Engine. And what I do, because that doesn't really tell you much, is I come together with the fashion industry and help them and help their journey towards real time using Unreal and other kind of digital tools and help them to kind of better understand our path to the metaverse.
Thank you very much. And we also have with us today Steven Zatio.
Hi, I'm Steven. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm the co-founder of Artifact Studios, which is a next-gen fashion brand focusing on making digital collectibles.
That's great. Thank you very much. And please welcome Dave Rhodes.
Hi, I'm Dave Rhodes from Unity Software. I'm the general manager of our Digital Twins business unit, essentially all our business outside the gaming industry, including entertainment and fashion. And I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you, we're thrilled too. And finally, we also have Ruby. Welcome, Ruby.
Hi everyone, my name is Ruby. So I'm the creator and also I am a virtual influencer of my character Ruby Gloom. So I work on developing virtual characters for companies and also I work on my own avatar.
Thank you so much, Ruby, and your avatar. So as you see, guys, this is like really exciting. And so let's dive into our conversation. First of all, the first question is for Daniela Ott. We would like to know more about the Aura Blockchain Consortium. So on which blockchain do you intend to pursue your mission and why?
Okay, thank you, Gloria. So Aura is a consortium of luxury brands. We were founded 6 months ago. We were founded already 3 years ago, but we went public and live only 6 months ago. It's co-created by Richemont, LVMH, Prada, and the OTB Group. We are a non-profit association. That means we have no founders or shareholders. All the surplus profit which is generated in Aura is reinvested in blockchain technology or other technologies for our members. What we are basically, if you want a software company, we sell digital identities, but we are also working on NFTs. So we have our own private permission-based blockchain. So it's our own blockchain, which is probably one of the most sustainable ones, which was really important for the founders, on which we have our Aura Standard and Aura SaaS solutions. For large brands, also for small brands, that's really important. For use cases which are mainly related to transparency, traceability, warranty, ownership, and authentication. And this is really our Standard and our SaaS, and there we have an annual software license. And it's really important for Aura to have not just large brands, but in particular also small brands. So therefore our financial solutions are accordingly established. And then we are currently working on our NFT offering, which goes live at the beginning of next year. And regarding your question, so we have our own private permission-based blockchain for which we use Quorum. And then for the NFT solution, which is on the public blockchain, we haven't decided, but probably it will be Polygon.
Okay, thank you very much. It's interesting that you are going to work both with the really high luxury brands, but even smaller brands as well.
Yeah, if I may say that, given that we are non-profit, really the mindset of the founders here is really to make the solution available and to really abstract the complexity of blockchain, not just for the big ones, but in particular for the small ones. And this is why we have our Aura SaaS version, which is, if I may say, really affordable, given that we are non-profit. The point is really to make solutions for every luxury brand, irrespective of the size and also irrespective of the category. So the idea is really to go large in terms of jewelry, watches, art, fashion, yachts, cars, you name it. So wines and spirits, perfume, so going really large in terms of subcategory.
Thank you very much, Daniela. So I have the next question for Sally Ann. Of course, epic games are epic. And we are like now on the verge of like really this explosion of NFTs. So of course the blockchain technology and NFTs are changing the world of gaming. So it seems that really video games, NFTs and the blockchain technology, all are going hand in hand. So can you give us a bit of a hint of what you're working on at the moment?
Well, look, I think it's such an exciting time at the here and now, and it kind of the journey has been long and very fruitful and very visual. Like video games are the clearest example of how technology has evolved and developed over the last 50 years. They've become more sophisticated, more immersive, more interactive, with more players and more participation, and they've become even more accessible. And I think we've started to change how we perceive games. And so they're not just games anymore, they're entertainment hubs, and they're meeting spaces, and they're exhibitions, and they're brand experiences, and they're creative building spaces. And therefore games are not just communities anymore, they're societies. And so they're places that allow for expression and identity, but also where people can create and they can trade and they can purchase. And digital spaces are becoming akin to real life spaces where things, like digital things, have value, are becoming more valuable, and creators have the opportunity to be rewarded for their digital efforts, as they should be. And people are buying and selling digital assets and garments and possessions, as we've heard, and they're curating and they're sharing. And this is a really, really important fundamental development from the early games all the way through to digital worlds and then the metaverse. And blockchain and NFT is a really important part of this development. The beginnings of an infrastructure that allows for bespoke, tracked items for us to have value and have an economy in digital worlds and digital spaces. So NFTs and blockchain are a really, really important part of the evolution of digital spaces and the metaverse.
Yes, thank you so much. I think it's a really great way to explain it. Like recently I heard a conversation and it was about what's the difference between the internet and the metaverse. And so they were saying, in the very beginning, the first stages of the internet, it was even difficult to understand how much we would explore the idea of like connecting people. But that was like finally the internet was like really to connect people, and now we can see how it exploded. And so if we think now the metaverse, a lot of people are really like trying to understand what is this going to be. So finally it's creating values. And so you have been using this word. So this is what we foresee for the future. But we are in the beginning, so it's the first stages of interactions, creating values. So thank you very much for your answer. Then we have like Steven. There is a question for Steven at Artifact, who's actually now in Miami, like ready to join Art Basel, which is quite interesting because we're talking about fashion, but even in the art world, it's like really like a new renaissance, digital renaissance, I would say. So Steven, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, so they are digital certificates for authenticity powered by the blockchain. And of course, Artifact has been like in this field since the beginning. So have the potential to add value for not just artworks, but also everyday essentials. So you have been working, starting with the sneakers, if I'm correct.
Yep. No, to add on to that, NFTs, they basically solve ownership. That's just the first layer of them. And we're entering a phase of extreme innovation from game publishers to small brands like ourselves. And the different layers that NFTs can span is really amazing in terms of it opens up new mechanisms and dynamics where you can see who previously owned an asset. In our example, we sell a digital representation of a physical good and then allow the owner of the NFT to distribute multiple pairs of physicals. We also utilize made to order, so it's a more sustainable approach. But as the market develops and the technology becomes more frictionless, we're going to start seeing loads of unique mechanics spawning from NFTs, not just on the ownership level, but access to events, staking, and actually earning income from different NFTs. So it's very exciting.
So this is working as like a connecting, powerful tool.
Yeah, we believe that the metaverse won't be one place. It will be a combination of multiple places, but the NFTs will be transferable to different simulations or metaverses. And we feel like the community is building that future together. So we're really excited to help power creators and artists to integrate into this new ecosystem.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think that this is actually like smoothly going into the next question, which is for Dave. Thinking about like all these like digital objects, and it's interesting because Dave is like specifically working on digital twins at Unity, and so my question is related really to digital twins. So, is the metaverse going to be a giant Frankenstein of the world that we live in?
Right. Well, I can't even imagine a giant Frankenstein this early in the morning here in California. But I think my guess is that based on some of the comments so far, none of us know ultimately how the metaverse, if you will, is going to transform itself over time. I think metaverse, Web 3.0, whatever you want to call it, we don't, just like Steven and probably Sally Ann, we don't see a single destination, a megaverse, if you will, that's all encompassing for all purposes. We see very much like you have today. And by the way, we've been watching this happen for over 5 years as real-time 3D from companies like Epic Games, companies like Unity have found their way into the creative space. We've been seeing pieces of the metaverse, if you will, developed every day, every week by different creators for the last 5+ years. And so we see that evolving into multiple destinations where you have specific utility around virtual performances and entertainment, or fashion, or commerce, or much of my time is spent in the industrial space where we're enabling architects, construction companies, large manufacturers to bring everything virtual, eliminating physical prototypes and being able to run those complex systems all online. And of course, massive social interaction. And what's really exciting about what this group is doing is we're enabling the small business owner essentially to participate in an opportunity in commerce and in fashion in the same way that the large brands can, by having a common set of currencies, by having a set of accessible tools. I've got stuff on my screen this morning. Accessible tools that enable them to create really immersive, exciting experiences, to enable them in this metaverse of the future to interact in real time with their consumers and communities and build a connection. So very exciting time. I don't see a megaverse. We see a wonderful immersive experience across multiple properties.
Yes, and it's like infinite experimentation at the moment. So as you say, we don't know exactly what it's going to be, but for sure we know it's like going to be so many layers of information happening at once, and being able to have that experience, which is like fully immersive. Thank you very much, Dave. And now I would like to know more about Ruby. And so Ruby, hello. So where do you come from? And when was your avatar born? Where, like, how did you start? Is it a long time you have been exploring your Ruby avatar? Can you tell us a bit about it?
Hi everyone. Excuse my bad English. So I actually I'm the creator of my own avatar, and I think for the reason behind why I created her is quite personal, because I grew up in a very traditional family, and I was very into fashion and art, but I was not able to take part in, you know, this kind of career. So after when I was in school, I was a real life fashion influencer in Hong Kong, and then eventually I found it not exciting anymore to explore. So I started to learn something new, and I started to learn 3D, and then I created my own avatar so she can replace my real life, my social media life. And also it's like a process and a journey for myself to learn more about myself, and also to be able to extend my imagination. So like for her, I think I don't even know where she comes from, but then she is the imaginative version of myself, that she is more brave and more able to express herself online. And yeah, this is her story.
That's her story, and for sure you can play more with identities for Ruby, because I've scrolled your socials to see how she looks like, and she's like very transformative. So I think that it gives you such a freedom that of course you can't have in real life.
Yeah, so this is her.
Yes, that's her. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. I mean, you are beautiful, but she's also beautiful, and I love the playfulness and, you know, the really great creativity that you are able to express through her. Very beautiful. So I have another question for Daniela. Let's go back to Aura and like trying to understand why the blockchain technology is the future of fashion and luxury, and how can blockchain solutions transform the luxury industry?
Yeah, so I love that question. I think our luxury members right now, which range from, you know, typical fashion and luxury companies, but also cars or wines and spirits or perfume. I think right now this is all physical product, and 100% of the revenue is physical product. I think in less than, say, 10 years or so, and it depends on the brand and what's right for the brand and so on. But some of that product will be one part circular. And for this, you need a digital twin, because that makes your whole traceability and transfer of ownership much easier, much more economic viable. So on the one hand, I think instead of having 100% new product sold today for some of our members or non-members, I think in less than 10 years, you know, maybe let's say 2/3 of this revenue will come maybe from physical new product, or a little bit less. and let's say 10 to 20% will come from circular. Now, circular is much easier if you actually have a digital twin. And the other part, I think, will be just virtual product only. And that can be NFTs, that can be classic virtual products, that can be tokens or others. And this is really exciting for so many things, because this consortium was founded really, it's really competitors creating on a daily basis. I have that on a daily basis. The consortium, we are very small. It's a startup. We don't have, big marketing budget or anything, because we cannot spend our members' money on that, if I may say. So it's really the founding members pitching in with quite a bit of resources, and I can see how they are actually collaborating for the greater good. And I think the greater good here is really putting the consumer at the center and giving him and her more power, if that's being traceability or transparency or authenticity, or actually using more virtual goods. And the other side is really for the planet, and I think especially digital twins can help here a lot.
Exactly. So this is going to be the future of luxury. And so this is helping me to trigger the next question to Sally Ann. Because I think sometimes when we think about luxury, the luxury industry, the idea of gaming is not maybe perfect, because I think that the word of gaming and the word game itself is really appealing to a super young generation. But maybe some, luxury customers, they don't feel that they really want to play, they're not into this a gaming sort of lifestyle. They have a luxury lifestyle. So what do you think is maybe the word gaming and a game something that should be we should find maybe another name to relate to this, luxury and fashion system. So maybe we need a new vocabulary. What do you think?
I think that I think your sentiment is absolutely right, in that historically the fashion industry hasn't really related to their perception of a gaming space. And I think all of those different parts of that sentence are relevant, in that they haven't related to their perception. And I think the perception and the reality have been different for a very long time. But in the last 18 months, I think so many opinions have flipped, so many minds have been changed, so many people have been incredibly courageous and brave and bold, and they've learned and they've put themselves into uncomfortable marketing and PR situations, and they've experimented and they've collaborated. And I think as a result, there's already changed. The perceptions changed. I think also our use of the language has changed a bit, in that, metaverse was a word that nobody used 18 months ago, unless you were a sci-fi writer. It wasn't, and now it's mainstream. There are articles being written on every type of publication, whether it's highbrow, lowbrow, or somewhere in between. So, the world is changing, and the way that we're communicating this sort of development in technology is changing. And I think that, there's a suggestion that the fashion industry are late adopters to technology, but in the last 18 months, they've come very far. And the one thing I love about them is that they don't do things by half. They have boldly moved forward, and they've forgotten their hesitation with games, and they've invested in digital worlds and digital experiences. They've stopped using the connotation that is boys' bedrooms playing games, and now they very much see the value of these digital spaces and these digital doubles and these digital worlds, and they're investing in the space. And in the last 12 months, you can just see by what's been out there from Balenciaga and Montclair and Burberry and Gucci in many different realms, many different spheres, many different executions. It's almost easier now to list off people that aren't present in a digital space in some way or shape than actually listing off those who are. And I think that this ball will keep rolling. I think that people will keep experimenting. I think in the next 12 months, we'll see even more in the way of partnerships, even more in the way of exploration. I think that we'll evolve the spaces, we'll evolve the executions, we'll all evolve the technology, and then the vocab will naturally evolve as well, you know, and our perceptions and how we see each of these words and spaces will change. And I think the fashion industry will be part of that. They'll naturally be part of that. When we begun this journey with a lot of labels 12 months ago, there was a massive language barrier. Talking about, you know, a gaming landscape, talking about a digital build, and then relaying that to someone that had lived and worked and their legacy was in fashion, there was huge information dropout. But now I feel as if there is an erosion of those two languages, and there's much more overlap, and everyone's much more comfortable having conversations about these spaces and about what you can do and what you should do in a presence. And so the fashion industry are going to be part of the evolving vocabulary of these digital spaces, and it'll become easier.
Yes, it's true what you said, that sometimes there is the perception that fashion is a bit late in, you know, like getting to like more conservative, but then as a matter of fact, when there is a change, it's like a big shift. And they embrace, because you know, finally you can really play in a very inclusive and diverse way. And I think that this is, you know, the digital space allows that a lot, and like even to express your identity. So finally, everyone now is like in the fashion industry shifting, or like at least trying to understand what moves to make and what is more suitable to the brand. So yes, thank you very much, Sally Ann. And then, of course, if we want to explore identities in the metaverse, we need avatars. So the next question is for Steven. So I know that you guys just launched a big NFT avatars project. So I would like to know, how is it going?
Yeah, so it's actually launching the end of this week. It's been a lot of sleepless nights, but we're very excited. We think that this project will evolve the whole industry. We've seen the increase of demand for a digital identity with CryptoPunks and Bored Apes, and we feel that our place in the industry is to innovate and take the game to the next level. So what we've done is we've created 20,000 unique avatars inspired by our favorite animes and streetwear and fashion culture. The big difference is all 20,000 come with a rigged 3D model, and people on this panel will know that the level of utility with 3D models is insane. So we're basically providing a toolkit for our audience of 3D models that are rigged, that can be imported into different metaverses. In addition, we're well known for our forging mechanic, where you redeem physical goods. So you'll actually be able to redeem the t-shirt that your avatar is wearing or certain accessories. So we really feel like we've taken what has been working in the space and taken it to the next step of the evolution, providing everyone with, we think they're the coolest 3D models. We also managed to bring on our favorite artist, Takashi Murakami. So he's designed a bunch of traits, and it's his first official step into NFTs. So we're really excited, one, to show people what we've been working on, and also see what people do. And we really believe in our community and the community of the whole space. So we just want to empower everyone with the tools so they can do what they want. We've worked a very interesting mechanic out with the licenses, where people can own a portion of the license. We've also worked to integrate them with Google and Zoom, so you can be your avatar in these virtual spaces. And yeah, really excited to launch it.
It's great. Are you going to present the project in Miami at Art Basel?
Yes, we actually have an event with FaZe, and we'll be displaying some of the avatars, and I think next week you'll see them all over the internet. There's been a lot of anticipation for this drop from the whole NFT community.
That's great. I wish I was there. Really great. So the next question is for Dave. And it's really related to digital twins. So digital twins technology is a real revolution in the fashion industry. So can you please explain us a little bit more why it is so important to have real clothing and digital twin? And what is the difference between digital twins and a mere 3D simulation of a fashion item?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Gloria. Well, you're right. I think the fashion industry has actually really accelerated their adoption of these virtual technologies in a way to connect with their communities and potential consumers. We recently commissioned a study from Forrester Research, who went out and talked to businesses, including fashion brands, and 88% of those companies that had already started to create their journey around and experiences around real-time 3D accelerated and adopted those in the last 15 months. Pandemic fueled inability to work together, to collaborate, sometimes to work on physical goods. There's a brand that I won't mention, a house that has a luxury brand of purses, and those purses, the physical prototypes, were literally stuck in warehouses in Italy. The team could not continue their work, and so they very quickly created a digital workflow and pipeline to start creating digital twins of these purses so they could continue to innovate. And of course, a lot of what's happened over this last 15 months has been, particularly at the top of the pyramid, the brands wanting to create the same virtual experience, the same high quality, differentiated experience that you would get going into a physical store, but couldn't. And as a result, lighting, very realistic rendering, the ability to, in a way, model how cloth or how materials might behave in the real world has become more and more important for these real-time experiences to become relevant to the brands and to the communities. And taking it back to the conversation around games for a minute, if you think about what a game is an interactive, usually 3D experience running at 60 plus frames a second. You're seeing that frame for the first and the last time, just once, and you're interacting with it. And oftentimes that experience is personalized.
And so how is like an avatar like actually dressing? So I wanted to ask Ruby, since your avatar is a real digital influencer, there is of course a lot of brands that started to contact you to be able to collaborate. So I wanted to know when, fashion and luxury brands did start calling you to decide to create partnerships and work together. And why do you think your avatar is so appealing to luxury and fashion brands?
So when I first, the first luxury brand approached me was Fendi. So like they have this new line, F is for Fendi, and they want to explore more about the Asian market and also to integrate and collaborate with more artists for the brand. So they reached out to me and asked me to do a few images for their new bags, and then eventually I got and last month actually I launched a collaboration with Adidas, and it's pretty amazing because it's not just digital content that I created for them, but also we made a physical in real life sneaker collaboration together, and it's still selling right now internationally. And then for me, I remember I also sometimes I wonder like, oh, I look too virtual. May I look too virtual for people online? And that most of the virtual influencers are pretty down to earth because they they would hang out with friends, they would go for coffee with friends, and they have like a community, and they have like common topics with their audience. But for my avatar, actually, I don't do that stuff. So like I was wondering why do they find me too? And I remember they told one time a client told me that they reach out to me because they think that I'm authentic. Not because I'm too like my virtuality is actually the what makes my avatar authentic, because I'm behind my avatar there's a real creator that she is my extension online, and I created her and I built her, I developed her, but that my avatar is not created by a company, it's not that. I think it's because it's an extension of myself, so I base on my personality and my taste and my passion. So I think that's the reason why they found my avatar more authentic.
Yes, also I think also it feels like really authentic because with your avatar, Ruby is not like mimicking, real life happening. There is really an exploration of possibilities. So creative-wise, I think it's like opening up a much bigger universe of references. So I think that this is also the reason why it feels really authentic, because it's really an explosion of digital possibilities. It makes you dream more, to be able to look at, your avatar instead of like a digital influencer, but, like doing things that actually real people can do. So I think it's this exploration of a really open creativity that makes it so special, because you want to dream about it, so. Yeah, you have been working with a lot of really high-end brands, and congratulations. Yeah, really.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I have like one more question for Daniela, and it is about the blockchain is opening up with so many different paths, from authenticating physical object or like process to virtualizations, and then NFTs, of course. But in the future, what will happen to objects or processes that will eventually not have a digital twin?
Yeah, that's a good question. Listen, let's put it this way. I think every physical product, and we are talking to yachts or cars or perfume or wines and spirits, or and I think every physical product, I think, has advantages to have a digital twin, because it gives you this added value of the provenance, the traceability, the transfer of ownership. You can get extra added value by actually having an NFT with it. Record of maintenance, the e-warranty. I mean, these are things which are really giving a lot of advantages to the consumer and to the user. And I think it's a shame if a physical product doesn't have it. So I would recommend all physical, and I'm sure the panel agrees here that I see a world where every physical product actually has a digital twin.
I see that too. It's happening. And Sally-Ann, a question about like the idea of fashion, and normally the primary function of a garment is to protect our body. But in the metaverse, what is the primary function of a virtual dress?
Yeah, I think if you get down to nuts and bolts, then yes, the primary function is to protect. But even in real life, we get past that super quickly. And if we didn't, then we'd all just go around with little triangles in choice places, but we don't, and we have for millions of viewers. And even
or we dress very uncomfortable clothing, but they look amazing. Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, even when we were cavemen, I believe, and I don't know this, I'm not a paleontologist, but, you know, I believe that the skin that you wore said a lot about your tribe. You know, it said that we're good hunters. It said that we know how to support and to protect our village, and that communication is still very, very clear. You know, clothes are a form of expression, and you know, and that is very clear. Everyone knows that, I think, pretty much. And yes, there are purposeful clothes that say a lot, in that if you've got a tennis kit on, it says I like tennis, and if you've got joggers on, it says I like Ralph Lauren. But I think that it's so much more involved in the real world. It communicates your mood, it communicates your role, your likes, your dislikes. It's one of the most intimate forms of communication and expression. And in the metaverse, all that will still be the case, but there will be endless creative possibilities. And you know, we've talked about that. Artifacts are already there, like showing us some of these endless creative opportunities. It allows for your imagination to go wild. Like dresses can span maps, scarves can be rivers, garments can evolve, they can compel interactions, garments can have games in them. Like there are so many different layers that we can explore. They can be formless, they can be genderless, they can speak about your legacy, your heritage, or just be about the future, and you know, and just be forward thinking. But I think fundamentally the metaverse wardrobe will be a powerful form of communication and expression. It'll be a way to interact. It'll be a curation of our passions. It'll be like a trophy cabinet. It'll be an art collection. It'll be bought, it'll be traded, it'll be sold, it'll be sustainable, it'll evolve. It'll basically be whatever you want it to be. And that's why it's so super exciting. And I think that's why so many people are investing time and energy and money and creativity into the space, because we have always been an incredible canvas. And I think that the metaverse will allow that canvas to be limitless and endless.
And also more sustainable. And this is the next question to Stephen, because the fashion, I mean, we have been seeing how much waste that's produced. So the question for you now is about, you know, can you share some thoughts about how, as a matter of fact, digital fashion is more sustainable?
Yeah, so I actually ran a business that was tackling sustainability issues in the luxury fashion, and it's pretty interesting how these brands prioritize their brand image and say stuff that doesn't sell out, they go to storages and they just sit there. And we believe that this new world that we're entering within, no one knows how long, but I feel like we will prioritize our digital items, have more digital items than we do physical, as sort of processes develop. And what we do with Artifact is do everything that's made to order. So we sell an NFT, and then from the NFT you can redeem a sneaker. The sneaker is marked and it's authenticated on the blockchain. And also it's a new mechanism where you can redeem multiple physicals from one NFT. So the value is always on the NFT. I also think that the luxury fashion industry are struggling with this space. A reason why they're all jumping in now is because gaming and NFTs and culture is really cool. But for their whole legacies, they've never done anything for gamers. And there's a huge cultural disconnect. So I'm more interested in the new creators or kids that learn 3D programs and create and are in Discord groups growing stuff. And I think we'll see these luxury fashion brands struggle to enter this space in an authentic way. Everything's on the blockchain, everything's public, and money grabs are very easily seen. And I think without the cultural alignment to the audience of gamers, and it's going to be a struggle. But I believe that the future is going to be sustainable. I think blockchain will shift to proof of stake instead of proof of work. So the actual technology will be more sustainable. And I feel like we're going to own more digital items than we do physical, especially with technologies such as AR. As soon as they're implemented in a way that's cost efficient and interactable, we could be wearing white suits and you can just see all of our cool AR clothes on top. So that's what we believe.
you could be like a green screen, and like, you know, according to whoever is looking at you, projecting something different, you know, which can be
exactly. That's why we see all the aliens in just plain suit, because they're already living it.
And Dave, I have one question for you, and it's you know, of course, digital twins. We understood, and you explained us how powerful is the connectivity that, you know, digital twins have. So in fashion and luxury, what kind of connectivity can be explored also for customers? So what are the potential of the connectivity?
Yeah, by the way, I think I need a green screen because I can see the sun coming up and shining behind me on my window here. There's so many possibilities for digitizing and digital twins, creating connectivity all throughout the supply chain. You know, the obvious one, again, I mentioned it a few minutes ago, this opportunity for the brand to connect in a real-time experience, virtual experience with their end buyer, shopper, consumer, or fan. To do it in a way that builds affinity, builds loyalty to the brand. You see today, and you will see even more collaboration between people like Ruby, her fan base, and a manufacturer coming together to create something that's very unique to that particular experience. And then the next step of connectivity that's very exciting and ties some things together we've been talking about are the ability to connect that experience to the supply chain in a way that configure to order, build to order experiences are more common, such that, you know, they're connected to the back end supply chain where the physical good gets manufactured. The transaction is fluid via a cryptocurrency and NFT experience of some kind. And ultimately, you don't have boxes and boxes of shoes that nobody wants sitting in a warehouse or flying across the world to land at my door only to have me return them. So you get this connectivity with the consumer, you get this connectivity across your business, and it does drive sustainability. Without question, a furniture manufacturer that we do business with did some research recently around the effectiveness of mixed reality experiences with people putting high-end furniture in their homes, and the number of returns that they get with people that use that virtual experience is dramatically lower than somebody who has it physically shipped to their house first. So.
Yes, right, because they can see it immediately. So you can have, of course, it's more like a conscious decision also, you know, when you do the purchase. And so then now I have a question for Ruby. And Ruby, you have like, you live with the avatar, with your avatar across a lot of different platforms. So I wanted to know if you are engaging your audience in the same way across the different platforms, or you slightly change a bit the way you are communicating with your audience.
I think I don't really change her her style or the way she is in different platforms, but then throughout the years, because I started building her in 2016 or 17 until now, and she actually changed a lot. Like her face is totally different, while I guess most of the audience or my fans, they don't realize, because I change her bit by bit every day to cater to my change of style too. So like but then for me to translate the connection and emotions with my avatar is that because she doesn't really do stuff that normal people will do in real life. So like I actually put a lot of work in the visual. For example, like how her pose is, her gestures and her emotions through her eyes, and all like the very detailed things that I have to create for each image or each every animation. And also like the way she dressed, it's like I developed her a very distinctive and rememberable style that people would remember and maybe connect to her somehow at some point if they especially love certain of my work or of the pictures that I made. Yeah, and but also like for NFTs, I actually did some NFTs on Super Rare and also on for like Crypto Fashion Week. And that for NFTs, I actually created. I don't really just put on, the daily renders that I do, but then I created a certain concept or a theme for Ruby to be in this NFT universe, because like for me, I think that it's not like NFT. It's not like if you just create something and then you just put it on OpenSea and people would buy it. It's like you have to have a creative concept behind that makes it valuable and also collectible. So like for so I did collaboration with the Fabricant to we collab on this really cute 3D clothing outfit that is inspired by Chinese dynasty and also the Victorian Renaissance. Very different styles all together into one piece, and then we did an NFT. So like for NFTs, I usually create a special concept for each project, so it's more special. Yeah.
Yes, like very unique. Thank you, Ruby. So Daniela, what are your objectives at Aura, and what companies are you addressing? What goals for the future?
Sure. So in terms of the objective is really twofold. One is to bring really a solution, to make a solution that's already being done as easy as possible, also for small brands to onboard who have zero blockchain knowledge in-house. This is we have our standard class. But the second part is really also to create a standard, and this is the reason why actually the founding members, came together and to create this non-profit association. To really, I think consumers, they don't need 10 apps or standards, but they just need one standard. And this actually provides the trust and the security for all the stakeholders. So this is the objective in terms of members. It's really luxury brands only, but across all categories and across all sizes. And then the Aura was on purpose, given that we're a non-profit, it was on purpose constructed very democratic. So if you're a big brand or a small brand, it doesn't matter. You have one vote on our technical roadmap. So I think that democratic process was really important for Aura. And then last, in terms of really going forward, it's not just, for instance, counterfeiting against physical goods, but it's really also counterfeiting against virtual fake goods, because that exists already out there as well. So these are some of the objectives we're working on.
Thank you very much. Sally Ann, we did explore the potentials, like we kind of think about like the potentials of like digital clothing. So because of like from games, digital skins became like so powerful in communicating the personality of the gamers. But then if we think about it in fashion, how do you think we can like find new designers like really inventing the future of a fashion? Because finally we will need to have new designers. Maybe young gamers are going to be the designers of the future. What do you think?
No, 100%. Like I think that is the exciting bit about this space. As Stephen suggested, the young, endlessly creative, mostly young people coming through at the moment, using the technology, using it in ways that it possibly hasn't been used before, doing things that haven't been seen before. They're not playing by the old rules. They're not held back by legacies of labels or fashion houses. They are just sort of allowing their imagination to go wild, and then leveraging the technology and developing technology so that they can begin to create their wildest dreams and fantasies. And so I think our jobs, and you know, we're kind of all doing it in our own way, is to inspire people to want to do this and also give them the tools they need to do this. So whether that is you know, software, whether that is, you know, helping the development of software and hardware, so developing tools so that people can be creative, giving these tools away so that people can have you know, be expressive and create things, and then also allowing them to be accessed by wider communities, like beginning to erode you know, the one of our biggest barriers at the moment, interoperability. The fact that, you know, games live in, one game lives in its little universe, another game lives in its own universe. There are different platforms, and there are people doing incredible things in these pockets. And I think if we can help the erosion of this creativity across these pockets, then it'll be a very powerful thing, and I think it will open up the level of creativity. So there's lots to be done, but there's lots that can be done. So it's really positive.
Thank you so much. Steve, last questions for everyone because we're running late. But Steven, what's the future of artifacts? And what do you think is going to be even the future of NFTs? We're really in the beginning of a big explosion, but where do you see it going?
Yeah, so I think to the first part of that question, we don't have much legacy. We've been around for a year, so we're just going to continue doing what we love doing and trying to innovate. We feel really lucky to be in this industry at such an early time where we can actually help shape it. I like to see ourselves as like the digital LVMH, but all the brands creator-led. So we're really strong about democratizing access to manufacturing, helping young and new creators access the technology. So giving the tools for the creators to build their own brands. And then the future of NFTs, I think, similar to what Sally-Ann said, there's going to be loads of mini communities focused on different types of NFTs. And what we've started to experience is those communities actually building out the utilities or pushing their sort of ideas forward. And I think the future is going to be a remix of our past. We've been collecting status items as physical clothes for hundreds of years, and we have the zeitgeist of media like Ready Player One, and people have these ideas, and the future is going to be built by us and the creators. So no one knows how quick or when, but everyone has big ideas, and anything's possible in this industry. So it's going to be exciting next few years.
Thank you so much. And Dave, how can digital twins make fashion more sustainable? You kind of explained that, but I would like you to underline that with like a final quote for our audience.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think tying a couple of things together here, when consumers have a better understanding of what their options are, and those options are personalized, and they make ultimately better buying decisions because they're more educated. They're much more likely to obtain that physical good, and they're in fact, research shows they're 8 times more likely to hold on to the purchases that they make when they're in rich, immersive shopping experiences. And so the idea that we can get it right the first time as brands and product companies get it into the consumer's hands in a way where they're educated and know what they're buying, as a result, there won't be as many returns. There won't be as many goods produced to begin with that ultimately don't meet customer need. And of course, you know, one of the biggest challenges to the global warming situation that we have is the cost of fuel to drive transportation vehicles. For particularly energy and airlines are the two things that that make the biggest difference. And so if we can help brands and the distribution chain reduce their footprint by getting it right the first time, then we're all making the world a better place for future generations.
Yeah, it's become like more responsible. You know, you are going to be producing in a much more responsible way. So the very, very last word is going to be to Ruby, and is going to be some thoughts with a poetic touch, because when I have seen your Instagram, for example, there is always some beautiful images, but there are also some beautiful words. You write beautifully, very like short quotes that are like inspiring and somehow empowering, and they're very poetic. So your avatar has a very poetic touch, which I love. Do you want to say something about the message that you want to share with the younger generation?
For me, all the captions are actually some immediate thoughts that I have and immediate emotions that I have. I think to create my own avatar, I really love to inspire people that they are not afraid to have their second or even third or fourth identity to be on social media. Because like for social media, a lot of people they try to portray the best version of themselves, while actually we are born with a physical body that maybe we don't want that. We don't want ourselves to look like that. But I think to be able to use your second or third or fourth identities, you can be whoever you really want through the internet and also the metaverse, with your different forms of digital forms or whatever you just want to be. So I also think that to be able to make people connect together, no matter what your race is, your gender, whatever you are, it's really amazing. And sometimes I just like for my captions, I actually I think about it and then I just write it. I don't really think so much about it. But then I think we should be doing this more, because on social media, we always think too much to how to present ourselves. But because my avatar is not me, but she is me, I'm more open and more direct to say whatever I have in my mind. And I really hope people can, try to do that too. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I really like this poetic touch, because maybe it's true, when you write without thinking so much, but it's so spontaneous. So I love this flow of emotions. So we have been talking about digital twins. So I think maybe the biggest challenge in the future is how to create emotions, and so how emotions are going to be translated in the metaverse. This is maybe the biggest challenge, but I let you work on that. Thank you everyone for being part of this panel. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope our audience will enjoy the conversation as well. Thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining the panel talks. Feel free to visit the galleries, the Impact Design Hub, and the Innovation Hub.